Hello lovely people. So this is a Galactic Mayan astrology forecast based on the Wavespells for Sunday the 8th of January 2023. Oh my goodness, really feeling the shifts of now. Yeah, gosh, there's just something lighter energetically that's opened, and recently, you know, there's been a lot of talk of this time being the moment that we kind of were expecting to happen in like 2012, of it feeling like really clearly different vibrational reality active. And I would say from personal experience of what's going on now in my life, we're in, which feels really cool, doesn't it? So yeah, so the energy that we're moving into, we're journeying for the next 13 days from the 8th of January with the archetype of the blue eagle. So there's a few pieces, as always, to these archetypes, and to blue eagle particularly. And the first big piece, you know, a little bit following on from what I was sharing around the white wind energy, and it's fascinating to me the way that we journey through each of the archetypes, but they kind of lead on to the next and on to the next and on to the next, and it's this beautiful representation of the oneness, you know, that is us. And I think sometimes this idea of oneness, you know, I am you, you are me, can sometimes make it feel that we're all meant to therefore be the same and have the same interests and the same desires and the same mission, and that's not true. You know, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You don't have like 100 of the same pieces to make the picture. You have different pieces, and yeah, there are some pieces that are like all the pieces that make up the grass, and there's some pieces that have all got that same like nodule there and a hole there. But each piece is individual, and it all has its specific place in the jigsaw. Each of us have our specific place in the jigsaw. And the energy of the white wind that we've just moved through was all about self-expression. And again, for me personally, you know, I ride these waves too. And even though I know, but this is the magic of it, it's like knowing, oh, what, this is the medicine that's available right now, and then witnessing it manifest is just beautiful, because being in that place of synchronistic awe is a really gorgeous vibration and emotion to be existing within. So yeah, this energy of sort of self-expression, and you know, what I was sort of beginning to bring to the table when I was speaking into the white wind energy is like, you know, what is our individual spark? You know, what is it that we bring to the table through being in that like authentic integrity of communication? You know, it's like, it's not about a right or a wrong. It's about an alignment with integrity. So what we're feeling, how aligned is our reality with the honouring of that. And like I said, I did start to speak into service within the last Wavespell video, and that's really what the Blue Eagle is about. The Blue Eagle energy is about planetary service. So how do we each serve the planet? And yet, there are collective themes within that all essentially boil down to love. You know, how able are we to remain in love? You know, how can we be the light of love in the world, in our relationships? You know, how can we show up in love frequency consciously? Because that automatically is feeding a certain vibration on the planet, you know, and we have all these different dimensions of experience available to us on the Earth plane, and it's really about, you know, our frequency as to what realm we grid into when it comes to our experience. So we've got the collective theme of love, but then also we have individual superpowers. And I've started working with people, as I mentioned in the last video, to uncover and really align with that individual spark. And you know, there's so many, you know, synchronicity isn't just about, you know, the feeling of wow and the coincidence that makes us know that there's more going on in this world than the mundane bullshit story we've been told when we all fell asleep to divinity. But it's also, you know, it reveals a path, you know, and like was brought about in the Celestine prophecy, which I know many of us kind of read many moons ago. The energy of that story, you know, the following of the synchronicity reveals our personal light, you know, and it's difficult, and this is one of the big reasons that I'm doing so much around alternatives to the traditional education model, because we've been put through a factory that told us that we're all the same. We've been put through a conditioning unit that stripped of our ability to be seen for our individual gifts and talents. You know, imagine a world where childhood gave us opportunity to actually explore and enhance those superpowers that we beam in with. So one of the things that's really interesting, because when we're kids we know, you know, we come in awake and one of the things that's really interesting to explore when it comes to our planetary service, it's like, well, what did you want to be when you were a kid? So for me there were two things. One, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and two, I wanted to be a teacher. I've become a teacher in lots of different ways. I hate that word because it's corrupt with power dynamics, but I do share shit to the world. And the other thing with the marine biology is really interesting. So over the years, as I've journeyed more into my like cosmic galactic origins and had really profound experiences with extraterrestrials and out-of-body experiences, an aspect of me, a deep aspect of me, is from a star system really close to the centre of the Milky Way, the galactic centre, and it's a water planet. And since I was a little girl, I've had a really strong connection with dolphins, and this is why I wanted to be a marine biologist. And of late I've been really connecting in with dolphin energy again and recognising, yeah, that they, as a realm, you know, the dolphins and the whales are doing so much for the planet and have continued to do so much for the planet and have never fallen asleep. You know, they really keep the frequency clear. You know, they work with the energy lines under the sea. They're constantly transmitting energetically through sonar. And they're just pure love from Mu, you know, Lemuria, Mu. So there's this really huge link for me with that aspect, because that's, you know, it's a big part of the frequency that I transmit is Mu, you know, it's from that time. So as I say, feeling into these things, you know, our child selves hold the codes, hold the awareness. So when it comes to feeling into what your planetary service is, what your role looks like, it's very easy because of our conditioning to think about it. And I wrote a post recently, dead leg time. Oh, have a little wiggle, lass. I wrote a post recently about capitalism again and how it's like slurred. Oh, I need to stretch out. Slurred our perspectives in so many ways, but particularly when it comes to like our service, you know. The way that we've been taught to think, to feel, is through monetary value and what it is that the other wants. Again, it's this school conditioning, this capitalist conditioning that are both very linked together. So when it comes to us being like, right, I'm awake, don't want to do the shitty job, want to help the world, want to save the world, we kind of look around and we're like, do I want to be a coach? Do I want to be an energy healer? It's like, these are the molds to choose from. Which one do I fancy? And I want to say, stop that shit. not that way around. It's not about being the coach, being the guide, being the little. It's about what is our essence, and how does our essence then translate into service. So again, if you want to dive deeper into it, work with me. But over the next 13 days, we're going to really be getting glimpses of that. And this is the beauty of the way that we work with these archetypes, because it helps us to tune into like, what are we looking for over the next 13 days? Over the next 13 days, because we're journeying with Blue Eagle, we're looking for the codes, because everything's programmed internally, externally, constantly mirroring, constantly revealing what's going on in our depths. It's like all aspects, all layers of our energetic self are, it's like matrix vibes. So we've all got these layers and layers and layers of self, some of which we are here to reprogram when it comes to like the pain body aspect of self that's manifesting wonky shit collectively and individually, reprogram that. But then also on a deeper level, we've got closer to the essence of us that exists forever and ever in a different dimension. We've also got coding there, and for us to be watching for the codes, what's reflected in our reality over the next 13 days around what our superpowers are, who reflects what back to us, what feels really good for us. And that's kind of the two ways of working with this. What feels meant for me to give, what feels fulfilling, key, but also what do others reflect back? What do people say, wow, you've got dope skills in that area? And then utilising that to be like, cool, okay. So maybe there's more training that I need to do, maybe there's more learning I need to do, maybe there are shifts that I need to make, but gently, slowly. It's not like by the end of these 13 days you're like, cool, my planetary service looks like this and I'm starting tomorrow. Like, go easy, go gently, and let synchronicity and spirit be a part of what carries you to the actualization of it. You don't have to constantly be in this masculine, like, I gotta do it myself, gotta do it well quick, it needs to happen yesterday, blah, 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 blah. And really stepping out of technology has so much helped me. That was a backward sentence, wasn't it? It's helped me a lot to slow the fuck down, man. For so many years I've been like, ding, 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 ding. And now I'm like, ding, ding. So yeah, and again, my big thing has been with children, and I've had so many experiences, phenomenal experiences around synchronicity, where, for instance, when I was in the Blue Mountains, I'd been like just off the grid and living in such deep connection. It was kind of before the 90s vibe came back around on a like culture level, and in this place in the Blue Mountains in Australia, this little town, everyone was wearing baggy pants and skate trainers and listening to Incubus and listening to Deftones. I was like, oh my god, this is so deeply me. Like a really core part of me, like the happiest aspect of my teenage self, I guess. And yeah, when I was there, random tiny little bloody tiny library that had an exhibition about play, and play is what I studied at uni, and play being what humans do when they're not being told what to do, and it all being about children. And it was that real like, cool, right, I need to go back. And that's when I started my research that then led to writing the book. If you didn't know, I've written a book called What to Do About School, and opening an alternative to school next September, and this is my deepest planetary service. It's like the Lemurian transmission of operating in a multidimensional capacity, and everything that I bring is one aspect, but then also all the stuff with kids is what this particular lifetime's about, and this is another piece. Like, okay, within our planetary service, we've got all the stuff that we remember from all these lifetimes, from all this existing existing essentially, and all the different things that we've crafted through, you know, the lifetimes that we were existing in mystery schools and really cultivating. You know, I think the whole thing's a mystery school, but there've been times where we've existed in temple and really like broken ourselves consciously down to re-emerge, to gain skills. We've had other times where we've had really fucking difficult lifetimes that have smashed us apart. We've had other times where we've had to do like karma clean-up lifetimes. We've had all these different experiences, and we bring that into this human experience. So the more that we can soften the human conditioning, the more that those aspects of us come out, which are a part of our planetary service. But then there's also, you know, we're here at this time as we shift into a very different reality on the planet. But it's not going to be like, ding, I keep saying this because it's important. We have to, we have to build it, man. Like, we've come to build it. We've come to make it different. And especially indigo vibes, man. Like, we're here to break stuff down, to create new structures, to create new systems. And then the children that follow, they get to, because they already exist in the higher frequency, and this is why all these autism diagnoses and all this stuff, it's like, no, they're already where we're going. So the more that we heighten the vibration of the planet, and that means creating new structures that allow for the vibration to remain high, you know, when it comes to the systems. Obviously my thing's the education system. So we've got a big mission, But what is it about the mission that lights you up? Find it. Find your people, find the tribe, and let's weave it together. So I have a beautiful Wavespell. I'm going to be doing a Vipassana and going into silence for 10 days, which I'm really looking forward to. Because, one of my big shadow things, I struggle to sit with sensation and not react. And Vipassana is really about that process, so I feel like it's going to be wonderful for me to be able to journey that. Particularly comes up with an attachment stuff for me personally, because we're all on this journey. There are so many aspects of us, but I will leave it there for now, darlings. Enjoy. Oh, 3 things. Galactic Mayan Diary is out, the new one. I didn't bring it with me because I'm in the woods. I'm doing an event in Manchester on the 28th of January, Wednesday, which is a Galactic Mayan Calendar initiation. I'll link it below. And the new spin starts on the 3rd of February. And also if you want to work with me one-to-one, my door is open. Let's do this shit. And I'll also link what to do about school and everything that I'm doing with the kids' stuff, so that you can get a bit of a flavour. And that's all for now, darlings. Sending you love from the woods, beautiful forest family, and the dragons and the unicorns and the dolphins. Ooh, shoo. We're doing it. Oh, we're doing it. It's so wonderful. So much love.